Happy New Year's Eve. So glad you guys are here to join me. Great to have you. And this is an emergency session tonight. New Year's Eve special edition just out. So glad you guys made it. Let's rock and roll. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, okay? A lot of stuff here to hit and talk about. But overall, the big case we're discussing tonight, okay, is really this Minnesota fraud case, okay? Allegedly, we have a $1 billion fraud case. Hey, Happy New Year, the Diamond Dog, 2026. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Got it, Lisa. What's going on, Tim? Thanks, man. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. The Diamond Dog, Happy New Year. If you've already crossed over that date at that time, then Happy New Year to you. So, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, okay? Mark, what's going on? Lisa, if I didn't say hello yet. Everybody that's here in the chat, we're going to get this thing rock and rolling. Nick, what's up, brother? Let's do this thing. Let's go and let's freaking do this. Awesome, Tim. I appreciate you being a member, man. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Great to have you. So we're discussing tonight, okay, a $1 billion alleged fraud case in Somalia. This possibly is the greatest and largest fraud case in the history of the United States, okay? And so we're going to hit this thing right off the bat. Without any further ado, I want to get right into it because, what's up, Jenks? I want to really deliver this right away, right up front, because we have a lot to cover. And, you know, for some of you, maybe don't have a lot of time. So we're going to be here for a little while. I'm going to be here for a while, but I'm going to sneeze here. Woo. And, but I want to make sure we're getting the biggest things right up front, okay? There's so much going on. Nick Shirley, a 23-year-old viral YouTuber, basically an investigative reporter, just a guy who had questions, went out with a camera and a GoPro, met up with another guy who was a very concerned citizen doing a lot of research on his own, and they went and uncovered a whole lot of fraud in Minnesota. Now, to be sure, the fraud case has been going on for a while. There's been a lot of people interested, investigations, things like that. But you have to understand that a lot of these investigations, as you will see, we're going to cover Nick Shirley's video. We're going to go to Patrick Bet David. We're going to go to ABC. We're going to go to other various independent YouTubers. We're going to go to Joe Rogan. We're going to go to a lot of places here because as I started learning about this yesterday and this morning, I thought, And we also have Fox News. We're going to go to lots of places, News Nation, a whole bunch of videos and information to cover. And you guys decide, okay? You guys can be the judge and jury here and decide what is going on and what is real, what is not real, what is, is it true? I will tell you right now, I think it's very true. Okay, that's just my take on it so far from what I've seen. And hey, thanks, Jenks. You too, brother. And that's right. I appreciate you, Mark. Hit that like button right now, guys. Let's get the algorithm going. Keep the chat rate high. Let's do it. But before we even start, I'm going to hit you guys with a poll, okay? I'm going to hit you with a poll. Let's see. Hit you with a quick poll. Do you believe that Minnesota... Do you believe in this fraud case? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys. In this child care fraud case, or is it racist, as you've heard? I mean, it's just nuts. Someone's investigating fraud, and they try to immediately say it's racist. Just any way that people can, stop people from finding out the truth about things. I don't know how it could be racist. It's a crime, right? So, okay. See what you guys think about this, and you can answer this as we go. Let's go ahead and let's get into this, okay? Because what he's uncovered is basically in some child care cases, there is no facility, right? It's like a facility that's closed. No one goes there, and they're paying them. The state is paying them $1 million a year on average, $700,000 to $1.8 million per year. For these child care places, the more kids they have registered, the more money they get. Now, investigations have been going on since 2013. As you'll see, we're going to see some old investigations too, and we're going to find out how actually how the investigations got shut down by politicians because they need this voting block. This really, really goes pretty deep, okay? And like always, guys, like, subscribe, share. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. But share this video tonight. Let's get as big of an audience as we can in here to spread the word on this, because I really think this is something. Hey, what's going on, Doc? Great to have you. Appreciate you guys joining me in the last minute here. The last minutes and the last hours of 2025. It's awesome to have you. But there's a lot here, okay? There's a lot to consider. So we have 100% yes. We got 9 votes. If you haven't voted yet, okay. There we go. Okay. Appreciate you guys voting. And I want you guys to put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of this case before. I know some people haven't. I was surprised. I talked to some people today and they said they hadn't heard of this. So put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of this case before, and put a 0 if you have not. I just want to make sure I know my situational awareness and know if people are tracking on this, okay? But this is the largest case of fraud, they're saying, in the history of the United States. We shall see. I'm sure there's other fraud that hasn't been uncovered yet, but I think personally this fraud is going on everywhere. But I will tell you, by the end, I'm going to tell you guys why this fraud matters, why this should matter to you, okay? What it means for our country, because it goes much deeper than just the fraud. Okay, Doc. Okay, Tim. Thanks, Nick. Because it goes much deeper than just the fraud. Okay, I see you, Mark. Jenks, thank you. This whole thing goes much deeper than just the fraud, okay? What it means, it's a means of paying off, in my opinion, okay, through my own work, my own investigation, paying off politicians to secure votes, okay, and turning a blind eye to corruption to make sure everybody gets paid, everyone gets fed, money gets funneled back to them. They don't know where it comes from. They're insured to vote a certain way, and they stay in power, okay? So it's a terrible corruption of not just the child care system and the health and human services system and just fraud, but it's also a corruption of our political system, okay? Where votes are being bought. Nothing new there. That's been happening for a long time, right? But we need to root that out wherever it comes up. It needs to be rooted out because people have an unfair advantage then, okay? And it does. I believe it does destroy our country. So, and you guys know me, I'm politically independent. If you're new to the channel, I'm politically independent, okay? And these findings are what I think. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm not going to give you a left lean or right lean. I'm going to give you the Ben Pappas lean and spin on it. Okay, Lisa, I see you. Okay, Ted, thank you. All right, guys, let's watch this first video and let's find out who is Nick Shirley, what has he done, and how did he discover this? Okay, let's find out. Here we go. Let me get right into this. Let's get right into this. Nick Shirley's initial part of his video here. And here we go.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more. And now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud. And I would see these childcare centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day. And all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children.
Okay, 0 children. Empty buildings, 0 children. If you're just joining us right now, I want you to think about that, okay? Empty buildings, 0 children. So if you have no kids at your daycare and you're a daycare facility, is that going to be fraud? Exactly, Tim, 100%. Bye-bye, Ilhan Omar. Bye-bye, Tim Walz. Just wait. Stay till the end, guys. Stay till the end. You're going to see a lot of videos that are so damning. Honest to God, I could have made this a 6-hour live stream tonight, but we're going to follow up. Joe Saunders, yippee-ki-yay. What's up, brother? Good to have you here, man. But we are going to... Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. The Diamond Dog, happy actual New Year to you. And so... this could be a 6-hour live stream. It could be a several day long. I might follow up tomorrow and definitely follow up Friday. Okay. But I will tell you, this is the tip of the iceberg. And I got to play this next clip. I'm going to play it early. Okay. I'm going to play this early. I'm going to play it early. Who wants me to play this clip? Put a 1 if you guys want me to play this bombshell clip from Joe Rogan early. Or should I wait? Or do you guys want to wait? Put a 1 if you want the bombshell clip from Joe Rogan to go right now early. And if not, put a 0 if you want me to wait. I want to see what your reaction is. You guys vote. If you want this bombshell clip from Joe Rogan to go early, just put a 1 in the chat. Okay, we got Joe Saunders saying 1. I want to see. We got a 1 from Ted. The Diamond Dog says Happy New Year's. Tell me what you guys want. You guys, the people will vote. The people will decide, okay? We are for the people, by the people. That's what we're doing. Heck yeah. All right, we got a couple more votes. We got a super 1 from Tim. We have a cabal. We have a cabal of YouTube members, Ben Pappas YouTube members here, voting 1. And we got B. Sandman saying 1, Mark saying 1, Tim saying do it. We're going to do it. We're going to play it. Guys, why does this whole thing matter? Okay, I told you it's about money being funded and funneled, okay? Money being funneled for voting. Voting blocks, staying in power. And you're going to see now, okay, illegal immigrants being given rights that citizens should have. Is watch this, and you're going to react to it with me, okay? Because I just saw this. I just added this in. And it's honestly unbelievable how all connected this is. It's all going to make sense as I play this. So you got to stay to the end tonight so you can fully understand, and you can understand all the damn hours of work I put into this thing and researching it, putting it together, okay? So you guys don't have to. You can get, 12 hours of research done in a 2-hour show with me right now, and we can discuss it and all that stuff. So check it out. Here we go. Everyone ready? Let's watch this. Check this out. Listen closely. Why this matters. At the end of the line of all the fraud and all the embezzlement and all the money, there are kickbacks going to politicians, kickbacks going to everybody. It's all about voting, all about securing the vote, making sure this certain group and these groups will secure the vote for Governor Walz and others. Here we go.
They just passed something in Minnesota where illegal immigrants are allowed to have driver's licenses and vote.
Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state.
State hearing, Minnesota director testified that non-citizens holding driver's licenses under the 2023 driver's licenses for all law can register to vote and cast ballots by affirming eligibility, as the ID verifies identity but not citizenship.
And have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it.
This is opening up the door for people that are non-citizens to vote. And it seems like they're confirming that non-citizens with this driver's license can vote.
The vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power.
They just passed something in Minnesota.
Okay. What do you guys think about this in the chat? Tell me in the chat what you guys think about it. I want to get some ideas from everybody what you think about this in the chat. It's absolutely freaking nuts as far as I'm concerned. Okay? I want to see what you guys think about that in the chat. Is that concerning? Okay? Let's get some ideas in here from you guys. Should illegal immigrants be allowed, can't even spell anymore, to vote? New poll out there, guys. Tell me what you think. And again, just so we're clear, my father came here after World War II, okay? My grandfather fought in the U.S. Army in World War II. He was Greek. That's how my family came to this country, okay? Served this country in war. My father served in the U.S. Army. My uncle served in the U.S. Army. Obviously, I served in the Marines. We shed our blood. My mother's side, her uncle was killed on the beaches of Normandy in D-Day, in the invasion of Normandy, okay? So there used to be a real pathway to citizenship, right? And there are other ways to get it too. But now they're just talking about giving them driver's license, giving them voting rights. And why? You have to ask yourself, why? Why would we do this? Okay? Why would we do this? And you guys tell me in the chat, why would we do this? I think I have my opinions, but let's see. Nick, I don't know how state voting eligibility works, but that seems like it's not constitutional at the state level unless they change state constitution. Yep, I agree with you, Nick. Nick, driver's licenses for anyone is why we have to all get those real IDs. 100%. That probably is it, Nick. That's probably exactly it. What's up, Trump said? How you doing? Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, no. 11 votes. If you haven't voted yet in the poll, please vote. This helps to inform me on what we need to talk about, what we should talk about, okay? So if you're just joining, we're talking about the Nick Shirley video that came out that launched a massive investigation into fraud in Minnesota. Ongoing fraud, it turns out. Turns out lots of officials are coming forward saying, I launched an investigation into this. I had damning evidence. They fired me. They got rid of me. They said, be quiet about it, okay? This has been going on, hardcore investigation since 2013. It's always been silenced. And here comes a young 23-year-old with the power of YouTube, the power of cameras, a GoPro, and just his courage, and started asking questions. And he's very respectful. Everyone's sir, ma'am, very nice. It's not partisan. It's not politics. It's not about Republican or Democrat or anything like that. It's just, was there fraud? Let's investigate. Doesn't matter who it is there fraud here? And some pretty damning pieces of information, if we can say evidence, are coming out about this. And I think he's proven a lot. So let's watch some more in this video, okay? I don't want to tease you guys for too long. Let's check this next part out here and see what he has to say. Here we go. Let's watch a little more of this.
Every time I went by there, for 80 children, they had
Hey, thank you, Trump said.
children.
Awesome.
Every time
I appreciate
I went by
you.
there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here, we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the
Okay, so really quickly, you can see what he's saying here is that they're just writing the check. No one's ever cross-checking to see if fraud's being committed, is what he's saying, okay? So what I want to be very clear about, this isn't about just the Somali community, okay? I want to be very clear about that. This is any grouping of people that are trying to commit fraud to defraud the United States government. You're trying to lie, cheat, and steal, cheat the taxpayers, where we're all paying our money, okay? Well, we're paying for 100 days out of the freaking year to the government of what we make, and they're giving it into programs out of the goodwill of the American people, and they're stealing it. They're defrauding us. They're stealing. Well, I got news for you. If you're doing that, you shouldn't be here, okay? Or you should be in jail, okay? That's it. That's enough with this bullshit. It's enough. I'm hearing this every turn. There's some crap, So, I mean, I'm getting so tired of it. And you guys know I'm politically independent. I'm not, going to try and steer you either way. but I want to know the facts. I want to know what the hell's going on. I want to call the balls and strikes. I want to call it like I see it. Okay? So, you know, it is absolutely nuts, but this is what we're seeing. Okay? Let's watch a little more of this right now. All right, I got 14 votes. Should illegal immigrants be allowed to vote? No, I agree. I agree with you. Trump said, I drive a 2011 Chevrolet Express 1500 with 250,000 miles. I love it. I love it. American car. Love it. I used to travel the country delivering $40,000 service dogs, $40,000 service dogs to brothers for free. My grants for a van to deliver dogs was denied. That's freaking nuts. Exactly. Exactly, Trump said. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Well, I appreciate you doing that. You did a great thing to deliver those service dogs to our veterans and our first responders and people that need them. Those dogs do make a big, big difference for sure. I remember not long ago, one of my raiders, one of my medically retired raiders, combat veterans, seen a lot of stuff, needed a dog. And luckily, as you guys know, I'm also an executive coach, and I work with businesses, and I work with CEOs, founders, owners of companies as their coach, as their leadership coach and their business coach and their mindset coach. I was able to reach out to one of my amazing clients who purchased this, this like $10,000 dog for them just like that. And so it's very much appreciated the service you're doing, Trump said, for sure. So thank you for sharing that, brother. Appreciate it. Joe Saunders, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Very kind to you. Let's see here. Would real ID be necessary if the rules decades old were followed? I agree. Joe, you're right. Joe, you're 100% right. I am old and don't understand why I have to adjust when they won't. Just saying, hey, man, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think that's what, honestly, that's what some of the real appeal is with President Trump, is this kind of, making them law and order, making them follow the rules, things like that. Now, no one's perfect, okay? And you guys know I call it like it is in this live as well, too, when there's something to be talked about. Even for the president, I will discuss these things, right? Not in a salacious manner, but we talk about it. But I think you're 100% right and about that, Joe. And I really appreciate you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Joe. Very kind of you. Very generous. Very generous. So there's a lot. There's just a lot here. Why won't the rules be followed? He's saying that we're not investigating what's going on. Wait a second. Why aren't we investigating? And I'm going to ask you guys, before we really get into it, even more, I present more evidence, some more things for you. Why? Okay, let me think. Do you think there is corruption in Minnesota? Oh my gosh, Ben, maybe. Politics. I say politicians. Okay. Do you think there's corruption in Minnesota politicians? Probably not the correct grammar, the best way to say it, but that's what I got for you guys right now. Remember, the Marine, you can take me out of the Marine Corps. You can't take the simple Marine out of me. Okay, guys? So I think, why aren't they investigating it? Now, shame on the Somali community. Shame on any community. It's not just the Somalis, okay? It's not just them. There's lots of people doing this stuff. It doesn't matter. It's all over the place, okay? Anyone who's been around poor immigrant communities, okay, knows that they're always trying to get, anyone who's poor, shouldn't be immigrants. Poor communities, period, are always trying to get an edge, okay? And if you don't have good oversight, they're going to find the edge. These guys found a gold mine, a veritable gold mine, and human nature being what it is, being greedy, they've been going unchecked. Or were they unchecked? This is the question. Were they unchecked? Or did everybody know about it and it was a pay to play? Keep it quiet, no investigations, do your thing, do it right, make sure it's all covered, we have paperwork, government politicians get a kickback, okay, all this crap in order to keep it going. To the tune of $1 billion to $8 billion. The high estimates I've heard, $8 billion. Okay. For sure, what they've tracked down is about $100 million. For sure. They're going to discuss this in the video. Okay, let's watch a little more. Let's keep going. But tell me, you guys in the chat, guys, give me a 1. Give me a 1 in the chat if you think there were a lot of politicians in on this, like congressmen who have the Somali community as their constituents, Governor Tin Walls maybe turning a blind eye, Representative Ilhan Omar, I mean, 100% no doubt about it, okay? But give me a 1 in the chat if you think that there are several, if not many, politicians turning a blind eye to this, okay? So as much as we want to fully blame the diabolical Somali community, I mean, if these people come from another country, they're coming from Somalia, they're poor, and they're like, holy crap, I figured something out. I just do this, and they're giving me like 50,000 this year. Really? Try 100,000. They did it again. Try more. They gave me 500,000. Holy crap, this is amazing. Honestly, I'm just saying, at some point, they're probably like, they're going to catch us, right? They're going to stop us, right? No, because there's something else going on. There are kickbacks going on. There are kickbacks going on. And I always said I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist, but this isn't conspiracy to me. This is mathematical. This is 101. This is basics, okay? This is basics. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you participating. Thank you, Doc, Joe Saunders, all the feedback. Trump said, Hummingbird Stones, Tim Burke, Mark, Joe, infinity. Joe, 1 to infinity. Exactly, Joe. I hear you. Okay, do you think there's corruption in Minnesota politicians? 100%, yes. End poll. Okay, I wish it wasn't so. It gives me no pleasure to say that. As a Marine, I always was taught to believe in my leadership and all those things like that. The Marine Corps is a pretty utopian place, right? And I mean, definitely hard, definitely has its problems, things like that. But you really believe in the mission, you believe in your country, all those things. Everyone's trying their best. You come to find out, unfortunately, not everybody's trying their best. They're trying their best to get rich. They're trying their best for their own bullshit. I tell you, I don't want to say it, but pay to play it, Lisa. That's it. Just like a local county exec who ended up in federal prison. Love to hear that story. Give us some details in the chat, Lisa. Love to hear a little bit of that story. Maybe we can run a little expose at some point. Wow. All right, let's watch a little more here. Let's watch a little more. And then I'll get some more in the chat. There's a lot here. I don't want to be here. I don't want you guys to be here for 6 hours. I deliberately said I'm going to try and fly along this tonight so we get maximum power out of this thing. All right, here we go. There's a little bit more on this because this is really good, and we're going to switch videos in a minute, but we got to get the basics of what Nick Shirley did and why he did it.
A lot of it is through my own research, and then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years, and so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two child cares listed at the same address. And together they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever. And I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations. And even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money. So it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare.
All right, you guys heard this. Really quick pause. It's people in the state of Minnesota writing the checks. Okay, it's federal money, and then it becomes state money. The federal government gives it to the state, but the people in Minnesota, the state government, are the ones writing the checks. Does that lend itself to corruption? Yes. Is that a lack of oversight? Yes. As we would say in the supply chain in the military, was there key control? Okay, was there a key actor control? Once the money's to the state, corruption can happen. There's no more oversight. It didn't come from the states. They're like, we got it now. We can use it to our advantage. Okay? Human nature takes over, unfortunately, in politics. Here we go. Let's watch some more. Let's watch some more. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are tracking. So I want to make sure everybody's tracking on this and we don't need to back up at all.
Writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation. A lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
Holy crap.
And the government
I got to
knows
hear
about
that
this.
again. Let's hear that one more time.
The government has another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
Wow.
And the government knows about this.
The government knows they're writing the checks. Yeah,
This is the local
Democrats over there
government.
writing the
Local
checks.
government.
What has happened
Minnesota
is that
government.
the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block.
Okay, now this is key. Okay, guys, this is key for what we talked about. They vote as a block. All right, let's keep going. Remember that now. They vote as a block. And I like this comment here, Liliana Rosalie. This is what happens when you privatize government-funded programs. 100%. 100%. Thank you, Doc. I see you. You're tracking. I appreciate it. Yep. Okay, both the county exec and his wife went to prison. Thank you, Lisa. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep going here.
And so when you're a politician,
And again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the fraud, the video exposing the Minnesota daycare fraud that Nick Shirley put out. It's a viral video. I believe it has 100 million views on X. It's got over 1 million views, a few million views now on YouTube. He's been on the Patrick Bet-David show. You're going to see here in a minute. And actually has caused massive investigation and action by the federal government from when he exposes videos. A 23-year-old kid. We'll learn more about him in a minute. Let's keep going. But the bottom line is, if you're just joining us, think empty child care centers, no children, empty buildings. This is what they're finding, and lots of checks being paid, millions per year. It's 700,000 to 1.8 million are the figures I've heard for each of these child care facilities. Unbelievable. Let's keep going.
you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term.
It's all about getting the votes. It's all about getting the votes. You hear that, folks? That's what he's saying. If I do something nice for them, I'm going to get all the votes because they vote as a block. Their leaders tell them how to vote. They have 100,000 Somalis is what he said. I mean, get their votes, okay? And then he said, Minnesota nice. People turn a blind eye. They're afraid of being called racist or Islamophobe. This is in Minnesota. I'm shocked. These are all things I'm just learning now with you guys. Let's go.
Votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud. And they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Wall's saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law, which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state.
All right. We're going to shift on here in a minute. If you guys are just joining us, okay, we are talking about the Minnesota child care fraud case. Think empty child care centers, no children, empty buildings, millions of dollars being spent per year on each child care center, okay? So this is a $1 billion fraud case, possibly $8 billion, they're saying. It possibly is the largest fraud case in United States history, and your tax dollars are going towards it, okay? You, the taxpayer, are paying for this. The federal government turns it over. Health and Human Services, the state of Minnesota, writes the checks to these child care centers. And guess what? A lot of blind eyes are being turned to this, okay? We played a little clip from Joe Rogan a minute ago that supports this idea of getting the voting. It's all about the voting, is what Nick Shirley's partner David just said, his partner in crime here in the investigation. This man David has done all the investigative work, and he said it's all about the votes. So why does that Joe Rogan video we played that said they passed a law in Minnesota that said illegal immigrants can get driver's licenses and therefore can vote, and it allows them to also have voting rights as well too, okay? Because it's all about the voting. It's all about the voting. And if they know those things get passed, they're going to vote for the people that passed it. So it's all about that. The fraud, the voting rights, all these things like that, just to keep people in power. So it goes beyond fraud and daycare. This is the takeaway. It's not just daycare fraud, not just the billions and the millions and possibly billions in fraud. It's about political corruption overall. Okay, so the plot thickens. It's deeper than that. Not to mention, and I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. Let's have another poll here. Let's see. I'm going to ask. Okay, check this out. Do you think that the fraud dollars go to Somali terrorists? Do you think so? Okay. I want to get an idea because we're going to find out. Stick around and you're going to find out. There's a lot to be learned here. This is insane. Insane. Okay. I saw 2 people said no, it looks like. Well, I'm going to show you maybe something that might change your mind. Okay. I'm going to show you something that might just change your mind. Because they're finding out, and I don't know if I have the video here, but they're finding out that in the Minneapolis airport, as far back as 10 years ago, they were stuffing millions of dollars in suitcases and taking them to Somalia. As long as they got to Dubai, they could ship it down through these cash wiring services or cash whatever services. Nick, if you're in the chat still, you'll know what I'm talking about. Nick, you can tell us about that. But they're shipping the money to Somalia once it gets to Dubai, and it's been millions. In fact, they say that the GDP of Somalia was replaced by this fraud case. Can you imagine this? So Al-Shabaab is there, ISIS in Somalia, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all those things like that is there. All right? And just so you understand how, again, this is connected, if I were like a detective with this wire diagram behind me, Ilhan Omar, the representative, on her first act in Congress as an elected official, she asked the judge, basically the Supreme Court, for leniency, okay? He was asking for leniency on a case of 8 Somali men who tried to join ISIS. Can you imagine this? These are enemies of the United States, okay? They're terrorists that hate America. And she said, we have to find a new way of compassion and give them leniency. They didn't mean it. I mean, come on. Seriously? Seriously. And this woman is tied up in this whole thing. Okay? I don't know about a smoking gun, but she's definitely tied into the whole thing. I mean, come on. These are her people. This is her community. Right? And again, be clear. This isn't about Somali people. This is about fraud and about political corruption. That's what it's about. That is what it's about. I don't care who you are, what your community is. If you are in a community causing fraud and political corruption, then we're going to talk about it because it ain't right. Okay. All right. I got 16 votes. I got 16 votes saying, do you think that fraud dollars go to Somali terrorists? I got vast majority saying yes, and I got 1 or 2 votes saying no. Okay. Let's find out. We're going to keep on discovering things together and learning together. And Nick says, after she married a staffer that had an affair that got paid from the campaign funds. Yeah. Yes. All these things true. Okay. Allegedly, she married her brother. That's what I've heard as well, too. Okay. I don't have any, I guess they've shown the marriage papers. I don't know how that works. That's not our point tonight, is to slam her, but to connect clear crimes to people and fraud, waste, and abuse, and activities that clearly appear to be activities against the United States of America. Yes, that is our business. Okay. Giovanni, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. It is New Year's Eve. What a great place. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else but with you guys right now. It's absolutely fantastic. And yes, we will have enough time to celebrate. Yep, I agree, Mark. Mark, great point. Not all money, but some for sure. Yes. The Diamond Dog, I don't know. Nick, proud at the lack of troll voters on these polls. Yeah, I know, right? You said, never mind. We got to keep it honest, though. And I want everybody, remember, in our chat, it's positive, supportive. Okay, people can state their opinions. We're not going to go nuts on each other. Now, if someone's a clear jackass and, trolling and being a jerk, then you're probably going to get ejected from the chat. Okay, if you're being a real idiot. Okay, but otherwise, You know, we can have a difference of opinion. We can have a great conversation. We can discuss things. It's going to be fantastic. So let's get it going. All right, Hummingbird Stones. She didn't go from negative income to $30 million in a year on a $174,000 salary. 100%. And it's so funny listening to this Nick Shirley, Hummingbird. He says, well, unless she did really well with her investments, he's still giving her a shot. Okay, because he's 23 and he's young and he's ideal. But then Patrick Bet-David, you'll see, he's like, yeah, come on, she's stealing. I mean, it's insane. How can you enrich yourself that much? It's just nuts. They all do it. Not all of them, I shouldn't say that. Some of them don't. But a lot of them do. It's disgusting. I think our system is not that bad. We have free school, healthcare sometimes, but some people profit too much. Yep, and do nothing. I hear you, the Diamond Dog. All right, let's keep going. Let's watch this next part. I'm going to go into the next video. You guys got a good idea about what he was up to. Let's check this out. We're going to get to the on-the-ground investigation now, okay? We're going to get to the on-the-ground investigation with him, and we're going to see what he has to say. Nick Shirley, again, guys, if you're just joining us, this is about the Somali, Minnesota daycare fraud investigation of upwards of $1 billion that's been defrauded of the U.S. government for over the past decade or so, over a decade. And in some cases, daycares that have no children, empty buildings, are getting paid $1 million per year for the past 5 years. All right. And as someone pointed out earlier in the chat, some of these places are now closed. Yes, they are. But thanks to Nick Shirley, they're closed. Others were from other investigations in the past, possibly, or they're just hiding because they're still, according to this guy, David's investigatory work. I can't even say this damn word anymore. Investigative work. He's showing that they're still being paid. Okay. All right. Let's check this video out. And this is where the plot really thickens. So stay tuned here. Here we go. All right. Now he actually visits the Child Learning Center, but they can't spell learning. It says Learing. The Child Learing Center is getting upwards of $1 million a year in daycare and teaching kids how to leer. That's the Learing Center. Can anybody leer for me in the audience? Someone explain to me in the audience, in the chat, well, how do you leer? How does one leer? It's supposed to be Child Learning Center. They spelled it wrong. All right, let's go.
Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up.
said they spelled learning wrong.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Open up.
So this is Quality Learing Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up.
said they spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you
Of course, there's some random Karen always. Okay. Unbelievable. And I just hate to say it, like, nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay, let's just keep going. Nothing else needs to be said on this.
have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
She's calling them ice. She's saying, don't open up. It's ice.
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million over
Don't
the
open up. It's ice.
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know
You're
what
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of 1.9
Shame
million?
Ah, she's pulling out the old shame on you. Shame on you. When did this become a thing? Shame on you. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, let's keep going. I apologize. I can't help myself.
$1 million going illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door.
Don't open up.
This is, I got to stop. I got to stop for a second, guys. I got to stop for a second. I can't help myself here. This to me is the epitome of ignorance. She has no clue why they're there, what they're doing. They're being peaceful. They don't have ice masks on. These aren't people in body armor. They have no police things. Clearly, this guy is a skinny little kid with a YouTube GoPro and a little phone. The other guy is an older gentleman with a phone. And she's just, doesn't matter. They could be trying to help them. She doesn't have any clue. Because they're there with the little phones and cameras, she's saying, don't open up, go away, you're not welcome, you're a shame. She has no clue. You'll see in a minute, she finally wants to know what they're doing. To me, it's just so ignorant. It's prejudiced. It's so prejudgmental. You're judging them without even knowing what they're doing there and why it's important to her community, of which she's being defrauded, of her tax dollars. It's insane to me. Absolutely freaking insane. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. You can help the channel out. And also, like, it also going to help the algorithm. And share this with somebody you think will get something out of this. If they're hanging out, it's New Year's Eve, and it's not time for the full-on crazy party yet, and they got a little bit of time, and they want to see this, share that as well. All right, let's go. Now, hold on one second. I'm going to reshare this with you guys, and let's go. All right, here we go.
And you spell learning right on the door.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are.
She's
You
cuckoo.
don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ICE!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children here at this building, but there's no one here. This is
Do you see that now? He says children, 99 children, there's no one here. She's like, wait a second, that is odd. Are these children missing? Did they go away? What happened to these children? So, and look at this down here, guys. License. Number of children licensed for, 99. Think about this. They're being paid for 99 children. Okay? No one's checking. No one is checking. 99 children. There's our paperwork, 99. You don't think some government official comes on there, let me count the heads, 1, 2, 3, duck, 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 goose. Okay? No one's down there doing the military count off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There's no report like the military where someone's coming down there and counting them and saying 99 are here again. And again, a random inspection, none of that. They file the paperwork. Someone has a signature. They take them at their word. They cut them a check. Let's look at this check again. They cut them a check for 1.9 freaking million for 4 million over the past few years. All right. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. All right, let's keep going.
There's supposed to be 99 children here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just been doing some research
who are you
investigating
with
the
here?
fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in here.
We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
99 children.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 9.
Can you believe this? They got last year 1.9 million, this year 1.5 million of taxpayer dollars. And look at this guy, what he says. And I'm going to get to the chat in 1 second. Joe Saunders, you're awesome. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Very generous of you, Joe. Thank you very much. And everybody, while we're here, like and subscribe and share. And again, this is all very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you, Joe. Let's get to Joe's question real quick here. Okay, and I'll get back to this. Because here's a local guy we're talking about. He's looking at this saying, I've never seen anyone go in here before in the Learing Center. I've never seen anyone. I've been here for 10 years. Never seen a person go in here. Insane. Okay, Joe. Okay, serious moment. No jokes. If this was a legit business, why would she scream, ICE, don't open up? I am mean. Are you kidding me? I know. It makes you wonder, Joe. That's a good point. Maybe she's in on it. Maybe it's a local community thing too. I don't know. But you're right. How freaking weird. Why would you do that? ICE, don't open up. Well, ICE will go in there either way. Don't open up. ICE will just smash the door in and come in. What are you talking about? It's just, people are so naive and so stupid. Joe, that's a great point. Thank you so much. Trump says, veterans, when is enough to enough? Well, I'll tell you what, enough is enough right now. That is for sure. So, almost 4 million. It's insane. 100 more places in the state. Yes. That's why it goes to $1 billion. Giovanni, that's why it goes to $1 billion. It goes to $1 billion because it's not just, she is the lookout, Doc, 100%. Giovanni, you're right. It goes to $1 billion when you think there are 100 more places like that in the state. You know, it's insane, man. Absolutely insane. Thank you for that question, Joe. And thank you for your generosity. I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much. $5 from Joe. Appreciate that. In addition to the last one you sent, the $10 before that. Thank you so much. Very kind to you. And Trump said as well, thank you for the $5. All right, guys, let's keep on going here, okay? Now, this man has lived there for 10 years, and he says he's never seen anybody. So why does this matter? I'm covering this because this is a big case that's out there, and you're going to see a lot of counter stories coming out saying, yeah, but that's not, there's nothing there. Yeah, but honest to God, it's just lies. They're saying like, oh, there's no story there. Now these counter stories are coming out. There is a story there. This young kid just went there as any normal person would, said, I want to see. If there are people there, I'll talk to them. I'll investigate it. Turns out no one was there. And if people were there, he would have posted his video and said, well, they say there's fraud, but I guess there's not. Okay? Let's keep going here. Let's keep going. Let's check it out. Let's keep going and watch a little bit more of this and listen to what this guy has to say. Okay? Here we go. So he's a guy who's lived here now. Remember, if you're just joining us, this is about the Minnesota fraud case, child care, daycare fraud case in the Somali community there. A $1 billion fraud case and empty buildings, no children. The evidence is looking really bad. Lots of money spent, but there's no physical evidence of child care going on. That's what we're talking about. Let's go.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see him. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that
seen
here.
a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years.
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving
Disgusting.
$1.9 million?
It's disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant too. That's, if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know. I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on their sign for a place that's supposed to be educating children.
That's crazy. I mean, who runs it? Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
Oh my God. Well, where? Yeah, it's just, I've never seen nobody here at all.
I've never seen
how long have you been
anybody
living
here at all.
Since 2017.
And he's been since 2017.
2018.
You've never seen a single child walk in that building.
No, not at all.
So this daycare center is literally just a place to traffic money. $1.9 million just this year alone. And this guy's been living here for 8 years and has never seen a single child walk through those doors. There's no windows either.
No.
And the only window they do
And the
have, the
Learing
door,
Center.
is blacked out.
Yep, I see that.
Wow.
I've never seen anybody go in there.
I've
Within
never
just
seen
a
anybody
few
go in
hours.
there, and he's been living there for 8 years. He's never seen anybody go in there. Okay? So it's insane. I mean, and the reason why I'm doing this video, guys, why does it matter? Because I think we see a lot of noise out there, right? And we see a lot of, there's always problems here and there, stuff to be concerned about. But these are actual things that will impact our country on a much deeper level with massive fraud. When they say we have no money, we got to, taxes, everyone's paying 100 days of taxes a year. A third of your money is going to taxes every year. And yet these fraud cases are going on. We're spending billions and all this other bullshit programs and all these things. And yet we're totally, overwhelmed in our deficit and all this crap. Okay? That's why it matters. And also matters when you have people steering our freaking country. People are steering our country that don't have a right to steer it through underhanded, illegal, corrupt political practices. And again, I'm politically independent. I call it like I see it. Okay? But I do know what's bullshit and what's not. All right? And this is some bullshit right here. Okay? For sure. Now, let me get to the chat here. Guys, is this Governor Tim Walz's fault? 14 votes, 100%. Yes. Okay, let's see in the chat. Got here. Okay, Giovanni, they probably rented out businesses and just put the signs up and filed the paperwork. 100%, Giovanni, 100%. You're going to see more and more. I get more videos. It's going to point that out, okay? That is exactly what is going on. Okay, that is exactly what's going on. Like Mitch Hedberg. Okay, whoa. Trump said Walz was selected 100% because of this. Yes, he could bring hundreds of millions to the campaign. Yep. Damn, Trump said. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Who runs it? Somalians. Yep. He cracks up, shakes his head. Is it Tim? Is it because it's Somalians? Who runs it? Somalians. Yep. Trump said. Okay. Who's the captain now? I don't know. Propaganda. For the financial crimes, where's the Secret Service? Yeah, they'll go after people pushing fake checks, but they can't figure this out. Yeah, for sure. I know what you mean. You're right about that, propaganda. You're right about that guy. Mountain Music. I'm the captain now. All right. Propaganda. Where's the post office at? They handle wire fraud, don't they? Where are any of them? I know, but I think someone has to actually bring them in, And when the local government blocks them and they don't request federal government support, you got this nice little secret bubble of secret bullshit going on, and they can have their secret little corrupt practices where they're stealing from the federal government, comes in, right, steals from the federal government, pays the local fraud group, in this case the Somalis, right? And then they pay the local government, who then does the votes back to D.C., and it's this nasty little cycle that happens, okay? Nasty little cycle of fraud and, corruption, and everybody's pay to play and all that stuff, okay? And in the poll, is this Governor Tim Walz's fault? Yes, 100%, 16 votes. I appreciate you guys for voting. I'm absolutely getting heated over all this. Me too, like Mitch Hedberg. Frankly, I'm going to pray and go work on myself. Too much for me. All right, well, hope you come back. I hope you come back because I do have a solution for you. I'm not trying to get you whooped into a frenzy, but I want us to think critically about what is out there, and I want you guys to know about what is real and what is not real. And I definitely do recommend doing your prayers, doing your meditation, all those things, okay? But we want to know really what's going on with some of this stuff because this is the context we operate in. Again, the purpose of this channel is to upgrade your life, to make a difference, improve our lives, all right? And part of that, being able to perform and succeed out in the operating environment in our lives, is to know what the hell is going on, okay? What is the context? What's real? What's not real? What should we really be concerned about, okay? So we know what the threats and opportunities are around us. All right, let's keep going. Mountain Music, secrets don't make friends. Okay, Tim Burke, Ben, the guy he was interviewing, asks, who runs this place? I see. He tells him Somalians. The guy he's interviewing chuckles like he's not surprised. Right, exactly. Okay. Yep, I hear you, Mountain Music. I hate pay to play. I'm way too skilled. Okay, let's keep going here. I got another video for you guys. We're going to see a little bit more about who is Nick Shirley. Okay, here we go. Who is Nick Shirley? We're going to learn this from Patrick Bet-David. And he's talking about right here, you're going to see. Let's watch.
But they're not showing the second one. And so they have two childcare businesses operating that same
within
room.
the same place.
Yes.
And how much money are they getting?
This one together over the past few years, they have it right there. But combined,
million?
They received over $5 million.
Stop it.
Just that one building alone.
And so what is the business model? Somebody just stays there all day, no kids, and they just take the cash?
Yeah, that's why all the windows are all boarded up, or why they're all blacked out.
Now, let me ask you, Nick, there was a video from 2019. Is it 2019, 2020? You know the video where parents would come, drop off the kids, and then take the kids out a minute later, not even drop them off. Come in, register.
Watch this.
Then they leave. You know which video I'm talking about, Ron? Yep. And allegedly, they were getting paid. That's the one right there. What year is that video from?
It says 2015, March 31st of 2015.
This is from 15.
Yes.
That they've been doing this. So this is a surveillance. Maybe you can narrate to the audience what's going on here.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing inside these daycares, I don't doubt that there's one.
The scheme to work, the daycare center.
You got to be kidding me. So I'll come in, I register my kids, you're able to write them off to make money off them. You send that to the Minnesota government. Hey, I have this many kids. Then they get paid. Then they come and give a kickback to the parents.
Yes.
So the problem with this is these parents are no longer going to get payments, and someone's going to call somebody out. and this has been happening for over a decade. It's not like this is a new thing that's happening. How many whistleblowers have been emailing you, DMing you, texting you, getting a hold of you? How many more whistleblowers have gotten a hold of you and David?
Yes, so many people have been reaching out. It's been almost like overwhelming to go through all the messages. But the people of Minnesota are so fed up with this fraud because now finally somebody's actually getting it out to the national level, because local journalists have been talking about it for years, but they've never been able to get it out to a national level.
All right, you hear that local journalists have been talking about this for years, but they've never been able to get it out to the national level, okay? And incidentally, some of the other research I've done, there have been some Somali people of Somali descent that have come after this and said that they want to have this stop. They know about this. It's bad for the community. So, it's a lot of people sick of this. And there's more here. Let's see a little bit more from Nick Shirley, and Patrick Bet David is talking about this. Okay. There's one more I want to show you guys. Here we go. Let's watch this. Here we go. It's kind of more of an introduction to Nick Shirley, so we all understand who he is.
Going to let the guy in. By the way, here's the power of where social media does today. 23 years old, you go and find out for yourself. You're not waiting on ABC, CNN, CBS, any of these guys. You go ask questions. After asking questions yesterday, I believe was it HHS, Rob, that came out yesterday? If I'm not mistaken, they came out yesterday and they stopped $185 million of funding to Minneapolis because of the video you posted. So watch this, folks. This is a byproduct of what Nick Shirley did on December 26th. Go ahead, Rob.
Hello, I'm HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill. I'm here with Assistant Secretary Alex Adams. Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
You can stop it right there.
Second,
so the idea is $185 million stop because you independently went out there and created this content, exposed it to everybody, and then allegedly, was it today that CNN came after you, or was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to say, guys, really quickly, this is the power of your voice when you're super empowered by social media, by these platforms today, okay, by the power of X, the power of YouTube, the power of Instagram, all these things, all these different platforms that you have access to, okay? So why is it important? Again, like I said, the purpose of this channel is to upgrade our lives, to upgrade your life, upgrade my life. My personal mission is to be an inspirational leader to create positive, lasting change in the lives of others. But I will tell you, I'm a ferocious optimist. I'm not just merely an optimist. A ferocious optimist means I have a combat mindset. It means I'm going to neutralize threats. I'm going to seize opportunities. I'm going to have the courage to do more than I've done before. I'm going to have the courage to go through fear, go through pain, overcome the obstacles in my way, okay? And this is something we need to know about as ferocious optimists. What are the threats to us, to our system, to taxpayers, to citizens, all these things like that? And what are the opportunities? But I'm going to tell you, your vote matters, your voice matters. Even in this chat right now, as the algorithm spreads this live stream out, it spreads it to other people. So remember to like, subscribe, share this. We are putting out the word out there of what we think with our polls, with your votes, with your chats, because people can see it afterwards, okay? So your voice matters. You can see Nick Shirley, through what he did in this piece of investigation, he has actually stopped. He's made a $185 million stop to the state of Minnesota by doing this. He's a 23-year-old kid. He has no journalism degree, no nothing. He goes out and asks questions, and he has the moral courage and the physical courage because he was being threatened. If we go on for this podcast, it's a 2-hour podcast with Patrick Bet David. He talks about how they were threatening him, pushing him around. He brought security with him the second time he went there, and four big security guards to keep him safe. Okay, and so it's amazing. But this is the power of social media. This is the power of interest media. This is the power of our platforms and your voices. And that's why I say the purpose of this podcast and this channel is to upgrade your life. In order to upgrade your life, just like a military mission, like a Marine Corps mission, we have to know the operating environment. We have to know the operating context, the enemy most probable course of action, the enemy most likely course of action, the most dangerous course of action, and we have to deal with it. Whoa, Cody Fisher, thank you so much, man. This is very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Awesome. The only demand, Cody says, thank you, very generous of you. I really appreciate it, Cody. And let me see what Cody says here really quick. Okay, the only demand we should push right now is finding out the list of political officials that benefited / allowed it to happen, and even more importantly, who is feeding their pocket to push these certain narratives and why. I can't agree with you more. I totally agree with you on that, Cody, and I think that needs to be done for sure. Thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. Because at some point, we have to have law and order. You cannot have a successful society if you don't have law and order. You can't have the arts flourish. You can't have technology flourish. You can't have peace and prosperity if you don't have law and order. And when these friggin' people are off doing bullshit like they are, stealing from us, okay? I don't mind that, some immigrant community is trying to get ahead. Like I don't mind. I understand that. But when it's so crazy against the law, all right, it has to be stopped. And then, just as you're saying, Cody, and this is a great point, and I really appreciate your generosity. And everybody, please, give Cody a like there on what he has to say. All right. But when it's other people who are in power, who know better, who have grown up in this country, have legal degrees, law enforcement, military, Governor Walz, allegedly, supposedly a sergeant major. I heard all that bullcrap too about him lying about combat, which is nuts. Okay, it's enough you're a sergeant major. It's a big friggin' deal. You don't have to lie about things, honestly. So, but when you know better, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on all the politicians and the powers that be that did not stop these people and investigate, because you're a leader for a reason. You got to keep people in check. You have to reward the good people, punish the bad people, and you have to enforce the rules. Okay, listen. So in science, there's something called entropy. Entropy means things will go to chaos, okay? The universe, the natural world will go to chaos unless some type of force keeps it in order, okay? So what keeps us in order as human beings, right? We have our bodies, our systems. We have, there's electricity holding our atoms together, all these things so we don't explode, right? There's gravity holding us down on the earth, so on and so forth, all this stuff. It's the same thing in a political system, in a unit, in an organization. If you don't have rules, you don't enforce them, you don't keep people in check, you don't create a culture of enforcing the rules, it will go to entropy. It'll go to chaos. The system will go to chaos unless an equal and opposite force keeps it in check. Okay? All right. Should the federal government take over this case? I have 75% say yes, 25% say no. Okay? I understand. But I think the next question is, and I appreciate everyone voting on that. Let me ask the next question. Okay, can the state of Minnesota successfully enforce this? Maybe they need some government incentive, some federal government incentive. I don't know. You guys tell me. Can the state of Minnesota successfully enforce this? And I mean, when I say enforce this, I mean, can they successfully correct this? Okay? All right, let's see here. No one is flourishing except those at the top. Yeah, Liliana, I hear you. Joe Saunders, all too true, and thank you. Thanks, Joe. Cody Fisher, wild thing I found. Most have dual citizenship. I mean, we need answers. Yeah, you're right, Cody. You have to do an investigation. I know Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, announced that there will be an investigation into all of this. But I want you guys to remember, investigations cost freaking money. Investigations cost money. It causes people to take their eye off the ball. And meanwhile, I just want to say, again, I told you guys I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I sometimes play one on TV. All right? Like right now. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I want you guys to consider something, okay? The Epstein file case is still going, and there are a million files being dropped. Right now, we are so distracted by Somali fraud, as we should be. Like I said, I wouldn't cover this if it wasn't important, okay? And again, my mission is to be an inspirational leader to create positive, lasting change in the lives of others. And to do that, I have to help understand the operating environment for myself and for you guys. We have to understand, what is the enemy situation? What is the situation we're operating in, the market conditions, all those things for us to win. So we're understanding this case. But it is a distraction from something that could be very, very damning for a lot of people, a lot of powerful people. And I'm not saying the smoking gun, it's not looking good for the president overall. I'm just saying it's not good. It's not a smoking gun, though, for him. However, there are a lot of other very powerful people that are going to probably get in a lot of trouble or should get in a lot of trouble for this damn Epstein files. Meanwhile, war in Venezuela, possible war with Iran. Things are, now we have the Somali fraud case. There's so many other things going on. We can't get a focus on possibly one of the most important cases. Okay? So we got to keep our eye on the ball on a lot of these things. There's a lot happening. Okay, Nick, this seems like one of those things where federal takeover of something makes sense, especially if they're paying for it. Yeah, I mean, they're already paying for it, Nick. I agree with you on that 100%. I mean, I know they're saying don't make the government do one more thing, probably. Maybe that's the argument. I'm not sure why people said no. But at some point, we have to have some independent investigators and independent law enforcement that doesn't have a dog in the fight, doesn't have a political constituents. They're not looking at getting reelected, because all the people in Minnesota, if they kick it to Minnesota, they can be like, well, we investigated, we found nothing, it's all good. Next election's here, fight for your lives. And then the federal government's too busy to pay attention, or the next crisis has come. Okay? A few crises later, everyone forgets about it. That's how it is. Or they're out of office and they can't do anything. They're fighting from behind the scenes now. So, there's a lot of stuff there for sure. A lot of stuff to be said. All right, let's watch a little bit more of this. There's more here. And again, I really appreciate it, Cody. Very generous of you. Thank you. And I appreciate all you guys. Any contributions like that to support the channel are very, very appreciated, and really will be put to good use. Thank you. All right, let's keep going here. We got some good stuff on Nick Shirley. We figured out who is Nick Shirley, what it's all about. Now, interestingly, CNN went to do an interview with Nick Shirley, Johnny Come Lately. Nick Shirley's already been on the ground in Little Mogadishu. That's what it's called, actually. Little Mogadishu in Minnesota twice. Okay? CNN finally swoops in, trying to get the scoop, playing gotcha piece on him. And, you see this fast-talking girl from CNN there, fast-talking, female journalist, I should say, a young female journalist. She's talking to him. He's just like, yeah, I just, they're like, well, how did you come to these conclusions? I went there and I looked. He's like, you can judge for yourselves. Watch this, okay? And it's so funny because they actually make themselves look worse by actually following up. So let's see. They actually support his claims. Watch this. Here we go.
A massive fraud investigation. Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening. And then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk in.
Okay. So, very funny that CNN went ahead and then investigated, right? And they went in and investigated, made the phone calls, and the phone calls were, I called several places, and only one picked up and said they were a legitimate business. No one else answered. No one was there when they went and checked it out themselves. And at the end, they're basically supporting what claims he made, okay? Oh, Cody Fisher, thank you again so much, man. I really appreciate it. You are very generous. Much appreciated. Thank you. Cody Fisher is saying here, I mean, genuinely, $20 from Cody Fisher. Thank you. I mean, genuinely, where do we draw the line? I'm 29 and run a small business chasing what our country was solely built on, freedom and a better life. Amen to that, brother. I love it. Raise a family. Instead, they take 47.5% in taxes. How do we end it? I hear you, man. I hear you. I definitely understand you. This is a great question. How do we end it? And then how do we deal with this? So this is what I say. How do we draw the line? We've got to make our voices heard, first of all. We've got to put enough pressure and enough pressure that people understand that we don't want to stand for it anymore, okay? Number one, we don't want this bullshit anymore. We don't want the fraud, waste, and abuse of our money, of our taxpayer dollars. We will not settle for a lack of law and order, of disarray, of violence, of bullshit where people can break into friggin' 7-Elevens and in luxury stores and steal all the crap. That's enough of that. Honestly, I know what to do. You know what to do. And that's not how you do it, okay? If people don't have a fear of the law, they will do whatever the hell they want, all right? And so we have to enforce that enough while still maintaining our civil liberties. Because the more we ratchet down, there's a chance for us to become less free, okay? So it's this balance. But especially in cases of fraud and stealing and voter manipulation and allowing illegal immigrants to vote. And it's not anything against a specific group. It's just that they are voting because they're getting something out of this corrupt politician. And you got to ask yourself, if you came from freaking Somalia and you're here and you're like, yeah, okay, I have a way better life. I got money now. I don't know where it came from. Great. I'll take it. Who cares? This is the person in charge. They're saying it's okay. We're not getting in trouble. The police didn't come. I got $1 million. I'm filing all the paperwork they said, and they still pay me. And so what? We're bringing kids here, and then we let them go 15 minutes later. So it's not real daycare, but we're still at least going through the motions. You got to remember, this is how they think, okay? And I'm saying, not saying this to Somalians, but the Somalis, but people who are desperate, are poor, come from poverty, they just want to have a good life too. Now, it's the corrupt politician who's then using them as a vehicle, say, okay, I'm going to get you that money. You guys just keep voting for me to keep me in power. And you guys scratch your back, you scratch mine, I stay in power, I get to do what I want. Meanwhile, the moral fabric of America, of the state, gets freaking ruined. Okay? And like I said, my father was an immigrant to this country. My family's immigrants to this country. Everybody served in the U.S. military, fought in wars. Okay? We shed our blood on foreign shores. Okay? My great uncle on my mom's side was killed in the beaches of Normandy. My father was in the U.S. Army. My uncle fought in Korea. My grandfather fought in North Africa with General Patton. Saw real combat, all these people. Okay, a lot of stuff. So there's a path to citizenship. There's a way for citizenship, and there's a way for what it means to be a citizen and to vote. All these things, okay? And so this is how we end it, though, Cody. This is a long-winded answer. This is how we end it. We have to keep pressure on and tell our politicians, tell our elected leaders what's important to us and why it's important, okay? And at the same time, I'm going to say this, that we're not going to put up for any more bullshit with like Epstein file type crap where we got this like sneaky cabal of these super powerful people, who are also people you wouldn't trust if you really knew what the hell is going on, okay? So again, thank you, Cody, for your tremendous generosity. Thank you so much. Steve, what's up, brother? Good to have you here. Happy New Year. We are on a roll, man. We are rolling. Hey, Trump said, awesome. Fantastic. We got something in common there. All right. So we are talking about tonight. If you're just joining us, again, guys, like, subscribe. Please, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. It helps the channel. Please put a like, smash the like button, and share this as well, too, if you think someone's going to get something out of this. But tonight on New Year's Eve, appreciate you guys all being here. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to all of you. Happy New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. Tomorrow's New Year's Day. I don't even know what day it is. Great to have you guys here. But what we're talking about is empty buildings, no children in the daycare centers in Minnesota, a $1 billion fraud case, possibly $8 billion. And as Giovanni, as you pointed out, when you have 100 of these care centers, each getting $1 million, you know, $1 million per year for 10 years, that's how we get to $1 billion. Possibly more. Possibly $8 billion is what they're saying. And as we'll see in future videos here, stick with me, stay to the end, okay? I've got more information on this. This money could be getting sent back to Somalia, not could be, is getting sent back to Somalia, and possibly, now this is the possibly, is funding Al-Shabaab, is funding ISIS, is funding Al-Qaeda in Somalia, Al-Qaeda affiliates, okay? All these things, all right? Happy New Year, brother. Propaganda. And no one can answer why we would ever do that in the first place. Mountain music. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, propaganda, that's it. That's one of the things they talk about is that a guy comes into the daycare, okay, or to welfare, and he's a Somali man with 4 wives. He gets paid for each one of the wives, and then all the kids with all the wives. So it's getting paid like it could be 10 children, 4 wives, and it all stays within their community and their household, and they don't have to do anything. So they're on welfare, they're on Medicaid, they're on all these government subsidies, all these programs, and there's nothing anyone's doing about it. And then also, I'm not saying all of them are doing this, but the fraud money is staying within the community, okay? And even more disturbing than that is the kickback to the politicians who are doing nothing. Because you're going to see right here, right now, that there actually was a big investigation, okay? A big investigation into this whole thing a while ago, and they didn't do anything. But before we do that, we're going to hear from Mr. Hannibal is Hungry, who's going to discuss why it's such BS that these people are coming after. It's another perspective, okay? It's another perspective in Minnesota, why it's BS. People are having a meltdown over this stuff. So let's hear from him really fast, and I'll get back in the chat. Again, I appreciate your generosity tonight, everybody. Thank you so much. Cody, thank you so much. Joe Saunders, Trump said, thank you.
Why are you sensationalizing the propaganda?
What are we sensationalizing?
To attack our community.
They don't want a fraud unit to do anything. They want a fraud unit on paper.
Halicki was fired in 2013 while in the midst of a big investigation.
This is a cover-up. This is a deliberate attempt by the officials in Hennepin County to deceive the taxpayers.
Sometimes they would come in, sign their children in, sign themselves in, and go grocery shopping.
Our sources say the more children a woman had to enroll in childcare, the more she'd make per hour.
How you doing, man?
I just want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Why are you sensationalizing the propaganda?
What are we sensationalizing?
To attack our community. What's your final objective?
We're not attacking your community by any means.
Are you making good money from this?
We're looking for fraud.
No,
For instance, can you answer our question? Where's Safari Transportation Company 607?
1 second.
It's not there. How you doing, man?
I just want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Why are you sensationalizing the propaganda?
What are we sensationalizing?
To attack.
Of the
Where's Safari Transportation?
So you notice right there, he's not really answering the question of the fraud. It's a very emotional reaction. Why you're sensationalizing. Either there's fraud or there isn't. They don't want to attack the argument. They just want to attack the person, build this emotional barrier so they can sit there and pretend to be innocent when they're not addressing the problem, the argument. Is there fraud or is there not fraud?
Company 607. It's not there.
How much money are you? How much money are you? How much money are you making?
Dreamline Security.
How much money are you making?
I make money
off
off of YouTube. That's how I make my money.
Exactly. So you're making money off of sensationalizing.
That my job.
And attacking the Somali community.
I'm not attacking you guys. We're asking.
I'll tell you the reason why this is happening. All right. Let me tell you the reason why you're attacking
fraud,
this.
Correct?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with race. This is fraud.
This is absolutely has to do with us being Muslim.
No, it does not.
All right, and us being from Africa. This is a constitutional argument.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. This person that's talking to Nick T is full of emotion, and he's basically defending fraud because he's not really answering the question. Is there fraud or not? That's the issue. That's why he's there. That's why a lot of people are there now. At this point in this situation, it seems like there's a culture of fraud, a culture where they knew they can come to Minnesota and just steal a bunch of money, taxpayer money, and no one's going to do anything about it. And now someone is actually doing something about it. And we'll show later on that there's been history of news reports. Good people in Minnesota have been talking about this for years. And finally, enough attention is brought to it. And this is the result. People are using this as a way to attack the person instead of attacking the argument.
If you don't want us here, change the freedom.
All right. So that's a great perspective, again, from a member of our, Black American community, African American community, whatever you want to say. And, he's showing that, they're trying to make this into something that it's not, just because you're racist, because we're Islam, and because we're from Africa. And this is not the case. There's fraud, or there's not. Okay. Now, I will say this, in what Hannibal said there, okay, Hannibal's Hungry is the YouTuber there. What Hannibal said is that this is a culture of corruption. And what I want to explain, guys, I've spent a lot of time in East Asia and Southeast Asia. There are definitely cultures of corruption. In Africa, I believe it's the same, where once you achieve a certain level, okay, corruption is expected. Or in any practice, there is corruption. And it's the government's job to prevent it and to tell you how much corruption you can have. Okay, again, so yes, bad on the Somalis, right? Or whatever we're calling them, Somalians. I think they're just called Somalis. I don't think you call them Somalians. I think this is a made-up name, made-up word. Anyway, but so bad on the Somalis, yes. But you have to understand, though, in a lot of these diasporas that come from East Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, a lot of the developing world, okay, East Asia, not as much, not developing really anymore, but Southeast Asia, of Africa, okay, anywhere in the developing, emerging economies, third world countries, they believe that corruption is the way, okay? I'd worked before in Southeast Asia. I've been in Cambodia, Laos, all these different places. Laos, I've been, Middle East, I've operated. I've been operating in Southeast Asia, different places, the Philippines. I have seen in front of me corruption take place where, an official pays another official. It's understood and expected. What they expect is for the government to tell you how much corruption before they smack you one. But when the government officials are participating, okay, they know no bounds, which is why, like Cody, to your point, Cody Fisher, we need to know who's on the list, who's on the roll, getting paid by this whole thing. So Hannibal came up with a great point saying that this is a culture of corruption. I fully believe that. So in this case, this is on the government. This is on the state government, definitely on those people. But come on, we have criminals everywhere. We got people that are stealing everywhere. We got to enforce the damn law. It doesn't mean, well, they gave us the paperwork, turn a blind eye. You're going to see, we're going to put another one on here in a second, where they have turned a damn blind eye, okay? They have turned a blind eye to this, and we're going to find out about it. We're going to hear this. And investigations being shut down from the state level. When they had evidence, they were doing search warrants, which is the highest thing you can get to, basically before you do full prosecution, okay? So again, let's get to the chat here really quick. Again, I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. We are talking about the Minnesota daycare fraud, $1 billion scandal in the Somali community in Minnesota, and the empty buildings, no children at the daycare. Nick Shirley, viral video on YouTube, who has just gone there to these places and decided to ask questions and finding all these things out, which has triggered a $185 million payment stoppage from the Health and Human Services Organization in the United States, the Department for the federal government, to the state of Minnesota. And they are launching a full investigation there. And I believe DHS has shown up. I don't think ICE is there yet, but the FBI is showing up, all kinds of things, okay? All right, for our poll, can the state of Minnesota successfully enforce this? 30% said yes, 70% said no. We shall see. The only thing I'll add for that poll is that I'd like Nick Heltzer-Zeltzer and I were talking about in the chat. Nick and I were talking about that. It's when the state is involved in the corruption, it's time to have an independent agency outside the state to run the investigation, because the state they have corruption within it. So the investigation will be corrupt because people are trying to win the election. And then when voter fraud is connected to the child care fraud, okay, it's a pay-to-play thing. You scratch my back, I'll turn a blind eye. You guys keep voting Walls. You keep voting Ilhan Omar. You keep voting this other guy who he's a congressman that has a video of him dancing around with the Somali people and all this stuff like that. You know, and he's definitely connected to this. I don't know what type of culpability or guilt he has in it, but more will come out. We'll cover some more over the coming days as well too. Okay, you guys stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you can get notified when I go live. Everyone who's following along here, Jasmine Rose, what's up, Jasmine? Good to have you here. Happy New Year. Becky, what's going on? We got some of our regulars in there as well. Awesome. And so, you know, and the thing is this, that you guys subscribe, so you'll see I go live at some odd times sometimes, you know, only a few hour notice, sometimes an hour notice, sometimes 30 minutes notice. But every Friday I go live at 7 p.m. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. I will go live. Friday is our current events and our, you know, assessing the chaos, looking at the battle situation, the enemy situation, the chaos, the context, the breaking news. Sunday, we go into mindset training, planning, execution. How do we deal with the chaos? How can we improve our lives, okay? And it's fantastic. It's a great balance. So tonight is a special episode, and let's keep on rolling. I'm going to get in the chat here in a minute. Okay, let's see. Propaganda. What did they think would happen when you bring in a bunch of corrupt operators, that it wouldn't start to operate corruptly? Yeah, 100%. 100%. More oversight, propaganda. More oversight in that case, right? You want to bring people in, you got to have more oversight, more hand-holding, all that stuff like that. Trump said, Doc, contact me. My website is Vitert. Okay. Doc, level of stupidity when reduced to the final equation is maddening. Yep. B. Sandman, what's up, man? To all vets here. What's up, brother? I could never serve due to spinal injury that occurred when I was 13, but I do my best to support all those who serve and have served. I always do whatever I can to help out. Hey, B. Sandman, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Any support is very welcome. I appreciate being here. Make sure you like and subscribe tonight. That will be great support as well. Thank you. All right, Jasmine's here. Great to have you, Jasmine. Anyone else? Let's see. All right, let's rock and roll. I got another one for you guys here, okay? But again, we're talking about the culture of corruption. We just talked about that. That Hannibal was talking about, and I think it's true. A culture of corruption means we got to change the way they think. We got to change this corrupt idea, corrupt attitude. All right, check this one out. You got another one here for you that I think is very important.
All right, well, Homeland Security officials are on the ground in Minnesota conducting a massive investigation into multiple fraud schemes happening in the city.
This comes as a group of Minnesota GOP lawmakers urging Governor Tim Walz to resign.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with the latest. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning. Attorney General Pam Bondi says they've been looking into these allegations of fraud for months, and they expect more prosecutions will be coming. So far, she says 98 people have been charged, 85 of whom are of Somali descent. DHS officials posted footage on X yesterday showing federal agents on the ground in Minneapolis investigating suspected cases of fraud in daycare and healthcare centers. It comes after an independent reporter, Nick Shirley's video investigating federally funded childcare centers in the Twin Cities went viral. Minnesota officials are pushing back, though, saying previous investigations into the locations referenced in Shirley's videos did not uncover evidence of fraud. One childcare business that's now under the microscope is Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis, which misspelled learning on its sign. They say they're fixing the spelling.
A lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours. When there's a specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours, he came outside of those hours and then claimed, hey, they're closed and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer money to work. And it's like, you don't come outside of operational hours and then say they're using taxpayer money. That was completely false.
Regardless, state Republicans are slamming Governor Tim Walz, saying they've been sounding the alarm over fraud in Minnesota's childcare space for years. They say for the good of the state, Governor Walz should step aside. Minnesota needs accountability, a reset, and new leadership that can get us back on the right track. It's not just Minnesota facing accusations of money mismanagement. A California auditor says it recently found millions in wasted dollars in state agencies. Guys, back to you.
All right, Maddie. What type of daycare has the daycare open from 2 to 10? That makes absolutely no sense.
I've not seen that.
And then there's some reports in the New York Post that all these places have not had children there at all. And then suddenly when these reports come out, now the children have started to arrive. So somebody's hiding something here.
Well, the children were what the report said.
Yeah. Yeah, someone is hiding something. So what I wanted to show you guys, I was trying to find this video, okay? Did you guys see, you saw the daycare manager, right, who said, this is unfair, this reporting is not good, okay? I'm going to tell you that I saw a video earlier today. I wish I had it right now, but I don't, okay? This guy, let me play him again. Let me just make sure we see him. All right, this guy right here, this guy, he's the talker of the scammers, okay? Not Nick Shirley, Mr. Nick Shirley, but this cat right here.
A lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was...
Okay, so this guy was spotted in a video dancing around. I mean, it was just like him. And same thing with the YouTube reactor. It might have been Benny Johnson. I can't remember who it was. Maybe not. It was someone else maybe. But said, this guy is the same guy in the congressman for his area, the U.S. congressman for his area, in a celebration dance at the guy's office. There were like 5 Somali men and this congressman. They're all dancing around celebrating his election. Okay? So if that's not pretty damning, I don't know what is. But, I mean, he has a very distinct look, very distinct hairline. I'm telling you it was him. I didn't believe it at first. I saw it. I'm like, oh, my God, it's him. I think it's 100% him. And I was like, and look at him. Let's listen a little bit more to him right here. Let's listen 1 second.
Done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours when there's a specific sign on our door that says...
That's not true. That's not true. Here what he says. Look at this. Listen. Outside of operating hours.
Someone came to our building outside of operating hours when there's a specific sign on our door that says...
This is not true, okay? And why is it not true? Because Nick Shirley talked about it earlier and said, they said from 2 to 10, and the other one said from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., and, every day of the week. And he said, we came at different times. They were never there, no children, okay, until CNN started investigating. All of a sudden, when CNN was out there, they started bringing 1 or 2 kids out there. Oh, Mark, this is very generous of you. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it. Let me see what we have here. Okay. Very generous of you. $19.99, $20. Thank you. More federal oversight definitely needed, but with the reduction in the federal workforce, it's not going to be easier. Yeah, it's a good point, man. Is this where the Doge thing hurts us? Okay. Poll time. Did Doge help or hurt us? For manpower to do investigations. Helped, hurt. Boom. Mark, that's a great question. Thank you so much. And I'm going to, very, very kind of you, very generous. And this is a good question. I mean, I think I put the poll in there because I want to see what people have to say. So you're right. When we have a reduction in force, we call that a RIF in the military. When we have a RIF, a reduction in force, it's very hard for us to execute all the missions that they want. And so what's going to happen is they're going to have to hire people to come in and to take care of these missions. All right. You're going to have to add structure. And if it's not structure, you're going to have to add contractors and people that can get deputized and come in and do the job. I think that's what we're looking at. So, you guys tell me. That's why I put it in the poll there. But tell me what you guys think. If it's a more complex answer, just put it in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. You guys are on fire tonight. It's absolutely awesome. Mark, that's a great question. It's not going to, this is actually, Mark's an authority on this, law enforcement retired. And so, you're saying, you're not asking, you're saying it's not going to be easier. I agree with you. I agree. It's just we'll have to figure it out, But you guys put in the chat what you think. Doc, Betty Wallace is her name. First female boatswain's mate in the history of the U.S. Navy. Oh, there we go. The bosuns. Nice. What about AI supervising? Cedric, what's up, Cedric? Good to have you here, man. What's up, Cedric? Yeah, great point. Joe Saunders, all's too true and thank you. Tough cookie. Okay. Propaganda says just cut off all the funding altogether. Okay, all those are the same bureaucrats that didn't do anything in the first place. Maybe, you might be right. Yeah, you're right. Propaganda, maybe, might be. But maybe not, though. We have some people that have some inside information in the chat here. So possibly, it is possible, and if someone has some inside information, that even probable that possibly probably some people that got let go that shouldn't have been let go, and especially in cases like this where we need more manpower. So, and that's always the balance. It's a hard balance, right? Because if you, listen, like in a football game, on a football team, if we reduce our team size, we cut down our bench, we cut down our reserve, we're a lean fighting force. The Marine Corps went through this, right? We went up to 202,000 Marines during the surge in Afghanistan, the surge in Iraq. We surged them back up. We got 202,000. The surge was over. They had a reduction in force. They cut down, back down to like 180, 185, okay? This is serious. People were, stellar Marines were being not eligible for reenlistment. Stellar Marine Raiders, okay? Stellar Marines and recon, infantry, you name it, not able to reenlist. Officers, the pipeline, it was up or out. And all of a sudden there's a ceiling where it became, instead of like this, became more like this and then a pipe, And then if there's another war that breaks out, you're screwed because you don't have the people. That's when they have to call up the reserves. So I don't know if the federal law enforcement, if they have a reserve. I don't know if the government has a reserve. And this is the question. This is the big thing. So Cedric, let's see. We need to change that rule that says the state agencies need to use all their budget to get more instead of being able to stack it up. Yeah, that's a great point, Cedric. We've talked about that for years because at the end of the fiscal year, they just spend it, right? They just spend it. Let's see. The Diamond Dog. Trump said we're kicking the crap out of the algorithms, brother. Yeah, we are. Thank you, guys. Chat, you are on fire. You are crushing it. We are absolutely crushing it tonight. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. We're spreading the word. And remember to like, subscribe, share this right now. Let's spread the word. Let's get this thing blowing up. And let's spread the word of what we're talking about tonight, okay? Your voice matters. The platform matters. Nick Shirley made a massive change and awareness of fraud going on through YouTube, through a YouTube video, okay? So your voice matters on here. Your voice matters on social media. It matters on this video right now, okay, in the chat. And the more we can spread the word in the algorithm, the more the chat is going on fire, the more they're going to spread the word and push it out. We'll get more people to see what's going on because this is an important case, okay? Let's see here. Yep, propaganda, when you fail, no more money for you. That's the way it should work. Well, that is, you're right. You're right. And a lot of times that we don't fail. So that's the good thing. Did Doge help or hurt for manpower to do investigation? Almost 50-50. We got help 53%, hurt 47%. Almost 50-50, 15 votes. Thank you guys. Thank you for the votes there. That's definitely almost even. Joe Saunders, pros and cons. Mark Retard. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I just think having a deep bench or having some type of reserves you can call up would be very helpful. And I just don't know if you can. I don't know if they do that for federal level. Okay, let's watch this next video, guys. I got some more for you. I got even more. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the empty daycare centers, the empty buildings. We're talking about fraud up to $1 billion over the past 10 years in Minnesota, discovered by, I should say, recently brought to the national level of attention by viral YouTuber Nick Shirley, who's 23 years old, used his platform to do some good. Just wanted to investigate and see what's going on with these allegations of fraud in Minnesota. Is it true? And he went around knocking on doors. And he met up with this guy, David, that had been doing this research for years. You come to find out a lot of politicians and law enforcement in Minnesota have known about it for a decade or more and have complained about it, all on deaf ears. Why And what I'm connecting the dots on tonight is that there is voter fraud and there is political corruption, and they are using this pay-to-play to give the Somali community what they want in order to get a block of votes to the tune of about 100,000 votes to keep certain people of a certain political party in power. And right now, that is Tim Walz's party, okay? That is the Democratic Party. Again, you guys know I'm politically independent. I'm calling it like I see it, and them's just the facts right now, everybody. Them's the facts. So that's what we're going with. All right, let's watch this one here. The next one. Now this, okay, this might be one of the most important pieces of evidence that we're going to watch right now, okay? Because it goes into a discussion with a former official who had years of investigating this, and he talks about why it wasn't brought to light earlier than now, okay? And he's feeling pretty vindicated. All right, let's go ahead and listen to this. Here we go.
My first guest tonight is a former agent with Homeland Security Investigations who previously looked into fraudulent Minnesota daycares. He was doing this back in 2015. He says despite finding evidence of sham centers, even serving warrants, he says his task force was disbanded without any reason. Jeremy Christensen joining me tonight. Thanks for being here, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You said these cases, you investigated them, nothing happened. They went into thin air, no prosecutions. How do you think this played out? What happened here?
Well, like I said, I was assigned to a state task force. Let me be clear. This wasn't a federal task force. This was run by the state of Minnesota, Department of Human Services. And so they ran it. My personal belief is that the powers to be higher up in the state of Minnesota just didn't want the case to move forward, and therefore it just went away. I mean, we don't go out and serve search warrants, collect tons of evidence, do surveillance, do all this. I mean, search warrants are your last line of investigation when you're getting ready to go forward with charges. We had served multiple warrants. I mean, just an immense amount of documents and so forth we seized, and then all of a sudden the task force just went away. That just does not make any sense. And again, to be clear, during this time, this was a local case and a local prosecution. It was not a federal case, even though I was assigned as a federal agent to the task force.
So do you think the safeguard broke down at the local level or the state level?
Yes, absolutely. There's no question in my mind that the powers to be higher up within the state of Minnesota shut this down. No.
Okay. So we heard that right there, okay? Former investigator, state of Minnesota, state level, not federal level. And she said, so in your opinion, was it the state leadership that shut this down? He said, no doubt about it. Someone at the higher ups in the state did not want this investigation to go forward. They had search warrant, okay? And we have law enforcement people in the chat. They got into full investigation to issuing search warrants. They issued so many search warrants. They were ready to prosecute, do all these things, and it was shut down. And the people running it, if you would keep on playing this, he talks about people running these investigations had their careers ruined and they were pushed away. How often does this have to happen? This happens too often, okay? This happens too damn often where, someone running an investigation gets some real word and all of a sudden they go away. This kind of sounds like the UFO alien thing, okay? And I know I cover that on Fridays. If you're new to the channel, we cover that on Fridays. Not every Friday, but probably once a month we'll do a deep dive into the aliens there. And we will talk about it. But cover-ups, right? People find something out, they want it to go away. They get rid of them. They shame them. They discredit them. They ruin their lives, okay? Trump said, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Very generous of you. $5 donation. I appreciate that. Thank you. $5, I don't know what we call this, a super chat or whatever it is, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm very, very generous of you. And let's see here. I'm trying to figure out how to read this thing. Here we go. Okay, you almost need a PhD to complete a federal grant application. That's why liberal academia owns the grant arena. They have PhDs and we only have TBIs. Damn, Trump said. That is coming off the top rope. Trump said coming off the top rope. Boom. Woo. Hey man, that's no joke. You got something to say there. That's something, you're saying something I think has a lot of value. Unfortunately, the common person, the common man, common working man and woman in this country, they have a hard time, okay? And for a long time, they were looked down upon, right? Like, oh, you're not educated enough. You're not this, you're not that. You don't speak the right way. Ha, 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 right? So we got to simplify things, because I'm going to tell you something. What's even more important is that simplicity in speech and in writing, and making it simple and clear, not having flowery, complex language, actually shows brilliance. So Trump said that's a great point. And thank you so much for your generosity tonight. I really appreciate you. And everybody who's been, giving the super chats, super thanks, and whatever else we call these things. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Very generous tonight. You guys are awesome. Chat, you are on fire and you're awesome. Nick, Heltzer-Zeltzer. Yeah, this is the thing that necessitates some sort of federal intervention, even if it's to figure out enforcement. And going back to Trump said, you're right about that. Why can't we make it easier? And I'm telling you, as a TBI, when you have a TBI, it's a killer. You can't think. You can't read. You can't concentrate. I hear you, Trump said. It's a big deal there. Thank you. Cody Fisher coming through again. The clutch, baby. Cody, thank you so much. Very generous, man. I appreciate the support tonight. Thank you. Cody Fisher coming off the top rope. Definitely corruption. $20 from Cody Fisher again. Thank you so much. Damn. Very generous. I appreciate it. Definitely corruption culture. Cody Fisher says, definitely corruption culture. Yes. What causes corruption? One's greed, for sure. What does the Bible teach us? Follow me, not the heart, my son. The heart of all these issues is simple. It's good versus evil at the root cause, I feel. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, and I think this is where, and you're right about that. So at the baseline, if we understand that people are going to be corrupt, right? They are going to be corrupt. Then we have to, as leaders, we have to guide them the right way. We have to enforce the rules and the regulations and the laws, and we have to teach them. And if they don't understand, and if you saw the videos, right? They're like yelling back in their language. They're acting like they don't know. And sometimes they don't know, but they do know how to bullshit, and they do know how to survive, and they do know how to get around the system. And they know that he's not a cop, so they're giving him a hard time. But the thing is this, they also know that in reality, no one cares. The fraud's been working for years. It's still going to work. Why? Because there's a big daddy rabbit somewhere that's taking care of all of them. So we got to find out, like you said before, Cody, we got to find out who is the one supporting this on the list. Okay. And, and culture takes a while to change. But first of all, you start with culture, because I teach this to companies, right? I'm a, leadership executive, leadership coach and business coach. And I work with companies, sales teams. I work with, elite organizations, founders and owners of companies to build their businesses, help them perform better, all these things, right? I'm a leadership and life coach, all that stuff. So one of the things I talk about is how do we build a winning culture? You want to build a winning culture, first of all, by building a winning story about the team. And part of that is enforcing what you want to decide. What are you going to praise and what are you going to punish? Okay? The things that you praise and you support and you celebrate will make people want to do more of it. The things you punish, okay, and you enforce will also enforce the culture. So when they don't punish these things, they don't make it a priority to punish them, why should anyone follow the law? Why? Steal? Rob? There's no reason to follow the law. So I definitely agree with you, Cody, on all of that at the heart, but we have to also show them the way, okay? And that is the job of the leadership, is to shape the direction, and let them know when they're off course, right? Because unfortunately, not everybody has had the education that we've had, right? They haven't had the education, the upbringing, they haven't had the cultural assimilation, all these things like that. So again, I appreciate your generosity. Great points. I appreciate you supporting and being in the chat. And thank you so much. Very awesome of you. Okay, I got another video for you guys here. All right, let's check this out. And Happy New Year once more to everybody. So great to have you here. I'm really, really, really excited to be here with you guys tonight. This is absolutely fantastic. No place I'd rather be than right here, right now, with all of you. Friggin' awesome. Okay, we're going to watch a little more of this guy, okay? Because he's talking about the investigations, and I think it matters because there's such history here, and you're going to learn how deep the corruption goes and how long it goes for from what he has to say.
And that the powers to be higher up within the state of Minnesota shut this down. No question in my mind whatsoever.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they did that instead of this investigation now getting worse and opening up years later?
Because there was no reason to disband that task force. I'm confident the person that was in charge of that task force was actually chastised. I think if that person ever comes forward, they may have some enlightening experiences working for the state, because that my understanding was that things didn't go well for that person's career.
All right, did you guys hear that? It's just like I talked about the UFO and alien investigations and whistleblowers. He said that person was chastised and things did not go well for that person's career. Okay, so I'm going to rewind that really quickly because I want everyone to make sure we hear that. And again, the corrupt practice of shaming, destroying, discrediting a whistleblower and actually a law enforcement investigator, because they won't stop once a dog is on a bone. You're punishing it for what its job is and what it's trained to do. Let's listen.
Experiences working for the state, because that my understanding was that things didn't go well for that person's career based on this case.
Jeremy, I have to say, this wasn't a small task force. This was 20 agents. Have you spoken with them about these investigations, or the person that was leading that you mentioned that may have been chastised?
Not personally in the last few years. Like I said, I retired in 2022, but I am in contact with several of my colleagues within HSI yet, and they all are in agreement too with how terribly this went. And but as far as the ones that ran the task force, no. Again, they were HA's Department of Human Services investigators, and I'm trying to think if they're even law enforcement credentialed in Minnesota. I can't quite recall if they're even fully credentialed law enforcement or if they're civilian investigators with Health and Human Services. But again, the heat came down on them pretty hard. These poor investigators, I really feel for them. They really did a wonderful job working this case. But I don't even know if it ever made it to the county attorney's office for charges other than being shut down at the higher levels within the state.
That's insane. It's insane. Here it is. Here it is. They had all this already lined up, and it was shut down by the higher levels within the state. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine? This could have been stopped so long ago, probably saved $500 million, $500 million. But instead, they were enriching themselves. One of you in the chat, I can't remember who said this, but one of you said Tim Walz was chosen as vice president because he could bring in the bucks. Holy crap. Holy crap. He could bring in the bucks because it was corruption. You know? It was corruption. Okay. I'm going to ask you guys another poll here. Do you think that Tim Walz was funneling fraud money from this into campaign? Into presidential campaign? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Sounding pretty apparent here. Freaking nuts, man. Nuts. Unbelievable. And honestly, I wish to God I had nothing to report on this. I wish to God I didn't even believe this. I wish it wasn't even anything. But it seems like it is something. It seems like it's something. I'm calling it like I said. I have no agenda. I'm politically independent. I could care less, honestly. But I do care about my country. And I do care about law and order. And I do care about corruption and stealing and theft and what's not fair and injustice. I care about all that crap. Hello, Marine officer. Okay, I care about all that stuff. Can't help it. Spent my whole life doing it, caring about it. I care about it right now, just like all of you do. And so I want to know, you know? I want to know. Okay, we got one person says no, 10 say yes. Okay. And whoever said no, maybe you're right. And let's just think, but someone was using the money for something. If someone shut that down from the state level, It means someone, maybe not Tim Walz. To me right now, and maybe not Tim Walz, but to me, Tim Walz personifies everything, right? Because honestly, I'm not as savvy on the whole Minnesota state political structure and who the players are. I'm just putting him as the top dog because ultimately he's responsible for law and order in the state of Minnesota. That's how it is when you're the leader. That's it. Okay. So in some way he is responsible. Was he funneling it? Okay, maybe not. But somehow, some way, he was getting money from the communities. Someone said he could get a lot of money. That's why they tagged him. He could bring her a lot of money really fast. Why else would you bring him on board? I don't know. He was getting money. Maybe specifically not these dollars. Maybe it was laundered some more before it got there. You see what I'm saying? So please vote in this because I really want to know, guys. This is important. It's important for my own learning. Important for all of us to kind of learn together as well, too. And because I also don't want to sensationalize things. I don't want to be like, oh, like WWE, like we're going crazy over here. I want us to really be able to have an honest, clear-eyed assessment of what the hell's going on here. And if this guy's full of shit, this Nick Shirley, we're going to say it. But everything I'm seeing, all the reports I'm seeing say no. Even CNN, okay? I'm trying to use balanced videos, all these things like that. CNN came at him, and then at the end, she was like, well, only one daycare picked up the phone and said they're a real business. No one else picked up the phone. So we shall see, basically. And then she said, Minnesota lawmakers, a lot of them had said, we've been reporting this for years that there's fraud, but no one's ever done anything about it. So, okay, it's been an ongoing problem. And you see how many people have come out, investigators, police, ABC News. That's, I don't think they particularly lean towards the right. They might be left leaning a little bit. I'm not sure. Okay. But I think so based upon President Trump's recent interactions with some of them. Are you a stupid person? I think he said that to one of them. Are you a stupid person? So that just told me that they're not friends of his. So that just told me that, again, pretty even. The guy on ABC says, yeah, this has been going on for a decade or more, and I've been investigating it. No one's done anything about it. It's been stopped at the state level. Okay, so there's there's real stuff here. So I appreciate you guys voting on that. That definitely will help us all to learn for this, okay? And let's get in the chat a little bit. I'm going to read. Got a lot of stuff coming on the chat. Appreciate you guys. Okay. Let's see here. All right, Joe Saunders, I believe the workplace shaming. Yeah. Okay. Joe Saunders, I now believe Tim brought cash to the Democratic Party. Yes, I do. I mean, I think you're right. Why else would you peg this guy as the vice president if he couldn't bring votes in cash? The more cash you have, the better shot you have at winning. So, I mean, I believe that. Mark, Becky, I wouldn't go hunting with him. Yeah, they say he doesn't know how to load a shotgun. Becky, shouldn't Tim just spend his time hunting wabbits or something? Oh, come on. We all know he does look like Elmer Fudd. Oh my gosh, Becky, you're right about that. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize that. But now I've seen that. I can't unsee what I've seen now in my mind's eye. Becky, thank you. Let's see. What do we have here? All right, let's keep on rolling here. I got another one for you guys. Got another one here. Let's see. All right, here we go. Got another one here.
Gate as the state's Democratic governor is pushing back on allegations that he's ignored the issue. Minneapolis Star-Tribune senior investigative reporter Jeff Meitrot is here for more on that. Jeff, thanks so much for coming on. Our ABC affiliate KSTP reported on license violations at some of these sites back in January. And they revealed 62 investigations involving federally funded Minnesota child care centers. And I know that you've investigated this in depth too. So what are the facts at this point and what's new now?
Well, it's been 10 years of fraud here in Minnesota. This daycare program that was the target of this most recent video was the first state overseen program that led to fraud charges back in 2014 through 2017. They built 10 different cases back then. Unfortunately, most of those people.
2014 to 2017, they built 10 different cases, he said. This is an ABC investigative reporter who's been reporting on this for over a decade, she said, I believe, or more. Okay, let's keep going.
people got a slap on the wrist, which really may have only emboldened the fraudsters. And since then, there have been frauds involving a state-operated meals program that's supposed to feed hungry poor children, and now housing programs, autism programs. It's really a spiraling crisis here.
And President Trump brought this up a few weeks ago when talking about ICE targeting Somali immigrants in Minneapolis. He also said, quote, "Their country stinks and we don't want them in our country." How big of a problem is fraud in the Somali community there, and how are Somali Americans there?
I just think that's unnecessary, honestly. I'm just going to say that. I think it's unprofessional of her. He also said their country stinks and we don't want them in our country. There's nothing to do with this case. Like, she's just trying to get him to say something. I mean, I don't know. It's just stupid. Let's keep going.
They're responding.
Minnesota is home to the largest Somali population in the United States. You know, there's over 100,000 Somalis here. And as you know, when you go into this community, what you realize is that the vast majority of them obviously are appalled at what's happening and wish that the spotlight was not on their community. At the same time, most of the fraudsters who have been caught so far are of East African or Somali descent. And so, you know, they're immigrants that are coming here. They don't know our system too well. And many of them, you know, they come from a culture where fraud is very common. And unfortunately, they've encountered state government here where the guardrails have really not been strong enough.
Okay, so this is a great thing. We're going to go back to this video in 1 second. But this is to your point, Cody Fisher, about cultural corruption and what I was discussing and what Hannibal, that video, the YouTuber's video, was talking about. So I think, you know, when we talk about a culture of corruption, and this investigative reporter is saying basically they come here from East Africa, from Somalia, and they come from a place where fraud is very common, you know, and I think to what they're thinking probably culturally, I'm guessing right now, but having my experience in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East, okay, in different emerging economies and developing countries and third world countries, that they think as long as it's not blatant in your face disrespectful, like they're filing paperwork, they're going through the motions, like, you know, you see they bring the kids there, then they take the kids out 5 minutes later, you know, they're kicking back, they're like, who cares? We're putting on a good show. We're not just stealing, we're actually following through, you know, kids are showing up, people are showing up, they're not there. You know, we have a business, we put a storefront. So in a culture of fraud, they probably think that, and no one's enforcing it. So on top of that, they think we're following the procedure that, you know, and again, they know it's wrong. Let's be clear. They know it's wrong. I want to say that. They know it's wrong. But you start fooling yourself, especially if you're from these places where this happens all the time, and no one's enforcing it from the new country, especially state officials. No one's coming to enforce it, saying shut them down, punish them, make an example of some people, put them in jail, burn these places down, maybe not burn them down, but close them down, make an example. They haven't done that. Sounds like they haven't done it at all. I think over the past 10 years, they've arrested, I think I saw a report, like, you know, 50 people have been arrested, maybe 80. My numbers are getting confused. Over 10 years, that's not that many for billions of dollars in fraud. Okay, it's crazy. So let's keep going here. Let's listen to a little bit more of this. This is one of the powerhouse pieces I have tonight, because this is an investigative reporter who's, you know, over at ABC there and been covering this a long time. He seems very clear-minded, very unbiased. Let's listen.
State government here where the guardrails have really not been strong enough.
Republicans have been criticizing the Democratic Governor Tim Walz over this, saying he basically ignored this. His office insists he's been working for years to crack down on fraud. So what have you learned about how state officials have tried to address this and what more needs to be done?
Well, I think one of the most frustrating things for a lot of folks here in Minnesota, which, you know, has always been described as a state that works, right? This is a place known for good government. It's not Louisiana. It's not Illinois, two places I worked before, where you might expect these kinds of public corruption things to be happening. This is Minnesota, where these things aren't supposed to happen, which sort of lays into the extra sort of shockingness of this whole situation. However, when you dig into really what happened here, and we have done several investigations, it's clear that the state officials ignored whistleblowers, very credible whistleblowers, who came forward with allegations of misconduct before any of the money in what we call the Feeding Our Future scandal was paid out. And the state basically told those whistleblowers, thanks, but no thanks. They sent them to other places. And for, I think, a couple of years, there was really a lot of concern by members of the public, but it seemed like the state government wasn't showing the same sort of sense of urgency that it is today. Now here we are going into an election year, and suddenly fraud is all anybody's talking about, both Democrats and Republicans. And I think the administration is now making some really good efforts to try to get a handle on this problem, change some of the way these things work. But for a lot of folks, it's too little too late.
Wow. He was saying that the whistleblowers were turned away, basically. And then, so whistleblowers turned away. The next thing is he's talking about the fact that it's an election year. And so two things come to mind, okay? First of all, money. So if we can attack this fraud, you're attacking an illicit funding stream for campaigns. That's my opinion. You guys put in the chat what you think. If you think, give me a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 if you think that this is about interrupting an illicit funding stream for the Democratic officials running for re-election in Minnesota. Put a 1. And then I'm going to put a poll up as well too. And if you think it's not, put a 0. Put a 1 if you think it's interrupting an illicit funding stream from the fraud cases that's lining the pockets of politicians, and put a 0 if you don't think so. I just want to get a pulse on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and run a poll. Now, our last poll, do you think that Tim Walz was funneling fraud money from this in his presidential campaign? 88% yes, 16 votes, and 12% no. Okay, appreciate everyone participating in that one. And then Crusader back in the house here. What's up, Crusader? Good to have you. Mountain Music Radio. Awesome. All right, let's see. I got another one here. For sure. Cedric says for sure. Mountain Music says yes. Okay. And the next thing is this. Number 1, funding stream. The next thing is, do you think that this new investigation into fraud has to do with hurting Dems in the election? Okay. Joe Saunders. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you. $5 from Joe Saunders. Joe, that's quite a bit tonight. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Very generous of you. Joe has said, ironic, did Tim crack down on his own fraud with stolen valor? Yeah, he might have. That's a great point, man. That's a great point. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. That's a good point. That is a good one. I'm going to put a little... Great point, Joe. That's a great point. And everybody weigh in on that one, what Joe said. Did Tim Walz crack down on his own fraud with stolen valor? He might have. Just saying. Great point, man. And so I have a new poll up. And thanks again, Joe. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Do you think that this new investigation into fraud has to do with hurting the Dems in the election? 67% yes, 33% no. Okay. We got a good mix of people on here tonight. I like it. People are independent thinkers in here. We can all learn together. And one of the most powerful things you can do is to learn how to see the world from someone else's perspective, and to learn how to, stand in someone else's shoes and see the world. You don't have to accept the ideas, but learn how to hold the idea in your hands, turn it over, and for a minute, try to see it from their perspective. And it doesn't mean you have to go to their side, but I just think it leads to better discourse, better conversations. And the more conversations we can have, civil conversations, productive conversations, we can move our country forward. We can move forward as citizens, as countries, as United States citizens, as our country, we can move forward having a better life, okay? And reaching some resolution on some of these issues, avoid major problems like all the crazy political violence and things like that's come up. We got to find a better way. And how you do that is by talking. We continue to talk, we continue to discuss, continue to offer different opinions. We investigate, we look at these things that are going on. We look at the context of the world. We look at the issues of the fraud. We look at the Epstein files. We look at potential war, the deployment of troops, all these different things like that. We see what's going on because this is the world we're living in, which does impact the economy, which impacts your quality of life. And again, the purpose of this channel is to improve our lives, right? Upgrade your life. The Ferocious Optimist podcast, which is what this is called, Ben Pappas channel on YouTube, right? It's all the same thing. The mission is to upgrade your life. And then we first of all have to operate from a place of knowledge and of understanding and to analyze the current operating environment. So Cody Fisher, man, coming through in the clutch, baby. Woo! Thank you so much, Cody. I appreciate it. Very generous once more, brother. Very generous of you. Cody Fisher with $10 again. It's crazy that this is happening. Cody says it's crazy that this is happening. It's crazy that this is happening, right? It's crazy that this is happening. Okay, let me read it. It's crazy that this is happening right as all the Epstein files are being buried deeper. That's what I'm saying, Cody. That's what I was saying before. Distraction after distraction after distraction. Okay? Children are more important than money. Yes. 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 Right. You're onto it. This is what I'm saying. Right now, we have a big fraud case, right? We got this. We got the war, attacks, different things like that, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that this isn't important, but we got to get to the bottom of the damn Epstein files. We got to find out what the hell's going on, okay? I mean, this is some crazy crap. You know, child prostitution rings, you know, rape, all these different allegations, child human trafficking. So Cody Fisher says, I'm going to read it one more time. I apologize. I'm reading it like 5 times. It's crazy that this is happening right as all of the Epstein files are being buried deeper. Children are more important than money. I think it's another distraction, a big one from the real evil. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That's what I was talking about earlier. I'm right there with you, Cody Fisher. Yep. I agree 100%. Okay. Thank you again, Cody. I agree 100% on that, you know, all the way. So it's unbelievable. Mark says, question, who taught the business owners how to commit the fraud? Someone had to. Yeah, you're right about that, Mark. You are right about that. And, you know, hopefully we run it all to ground and we figure it out. You know, Mark, that's the thing. We run it all to ground. Trump says, I'm done with the civil conversation, done the investigation, reported the fraud to no avail. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got to keep it going. We got to keep the awareness going then. That's what we're doing here. We're keeping the awareness going. We're bringing to light on our platform here, all of us together, what needs to be brought to light. And it's very important. Okay. And that is the purpose. Again, this is one way we can improve our lives by having less corruption, less fraud, more integrity, you know, more honesty and transparency, all those things like that. Okay, let's see. Crusader, arrest everyone in those files except the leader. I remember we talked about this last time, Crusader. Crusader says, that's how I know you're a true Marine, outgoing and able to make friends. Thanks, Crusader. I appreciate you, man. It'll all come out. It'll all come out. And I remember you said last time, Crusader, you said, you know, they might just be trying to bring him down through a scandal. Yeah, maybe so. I think, you know, probably a lot would have come out already. But, I mean, it's not looking great for him. It's not a good look overall, you know, obviously. But it'll all come out. I'm sure we'll find out. But the biggest thing is we control the controllables, what we can control. We keep talking about it. We bring to light, you know, we want transparency. We want the truth. And we deserve that. We deserve that. So let's keep on rolling here. Let me see. Okay, Trump said, Ben, when you see hundreds of billions spent on homeless veterans and there's still homeless veterans, yeah, what do you think? What did you think was happening with the hundreds of, I don't know. It's a great point. That's a great point, Trump said. Yeah, and we have all of these benevolent organizations. We have all these charitable organizations from former veterans that are still raising money for people. I don't know. Yeah, fraud. You're right. I mean, there it is. Trump says probably fraud. Probably something else going on. Or the problem is bigger than they thought. Could be that too. Mountain Music, my guess is Big Pharma since my dad has prescribed 1,000 pills. Wow. Cody Fisher, genuine question. Maybe I'm dumb, but that was the purpose of the integration of the Somalis there specifically. Or what was it? What was the perfect? I don't know. I think at some point there was a, what am I trying to say here? Asylum. I think some of them are under special asylum. Okay. I think some of them are under special asylum, but I'm not 100% sure, So I think that, hold on one second. There we go. Hopefully I didn't lose the stream. My webpage just died down for a minute, but I'm back. I'm here. So I think some of it was originally asylum from the country, political asylum. I think some of it was just people being refugees, things like that. But then they started opening up immigration. And so what I will say, okay, special asylum status, Nick's saying, Helter-Zelter. So what I want to say is that Cody Fisher, I want to say, Cody, that at some point they opened up a lot of migration to the Somalis. Now, some people will say, the conspiracy here is that some people would say that they came there to be a voting bloc, a Democratic voting bloc. Okay, so I think there's some truth to that for sure. Now, the United States has been doing that for a long time with different diasporas, different ethnic groups, and different migrants, okay, different immigrants to this country. They've been coming here, and then, politicians want to win them over and keep their vote, keep them happy, keep their vote, get them voting rights as soon as possible. Okay, that's why election fraud is so serious. It's so serious, guys. So, let me see. Any other questions here? Nick, the issue is if they're a refugee or asylum status holder, you can't send them back if they're likely to be in danger or killed if they're returned. Yeah. Not saying that we should ship them back to a failed state immediately, but there should be some sort of long-term plan when letting them in. Yeah, I agree, Nick. I agree with you. I agree with you that, we have to have a plan for them, and at a minimum, they have to follow the law. So they have to have a crackdown, and they have to enforce the law, make those people pay that need to pay, deport people if they need to be deported, hold people accountable at the government level that are letting it slip, find out who's involved in the corruption, but they need to make an example of this. You can't keep having this go on and on and on, because again, entropy, like I talked about before, the chaos theory, everything goes to chaos unless an equal or more powerful force puts it back into shape. Okay. Puts it into the correct form. So entropy, the system's going to go to hell, go to chaos, in chaos theory. Right. So, what are the questions we have right now, guys? It is New Year's Eve. It's so great to be with you guys. Happy New Year to everyone. Such a fantastic time. Cody, can we figure out how to live stream Black Hawk Down so every home in the area, just for your days, just for a little fun? Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. That's a hell of a movie and a tough movie to watch for sure. Crazy stuff. Do you know what's interesting? Speaking of Black Hawk Down, Cody, I saw a video where they said that in my research for today's live, I saw something, and I wish I had it now right here, but it said that the money being funneled back to Somalia in suitcases, in cash, because a lot of these people, they don't pay for housing, they don't pay for healthcare, they don't pay for food, okay? And then they get paid under the table in cash from a lot of these I think these daycare frauds or other things. They get paid in cash under the table. They put the cash in suitcases, send it back to Somalia, okay, or through through Dubai, and a lot of this ends up in that same area that was the marketplace run by the Somali warlords, run by Al-Shabaab, and the Somali warlords from Black Hawk Down time, where 16 American soldiers, I think 18 American soldiers, Rangers, were killed. Okay, so crazy stuff. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. It is New Year's Eve. It is great to be here with all of you. It's been a real pleasure. And barring any last-minute questions, I've got the end of this poll. Do you think that this new investigation into fraud has to do with hurting the Dems in the election? 64% say yes, 36% say no. Cool. I love having our diversity in our poll here. I love how everybody has their own opinions, and it's definitely a great perspective we bring. But it's been awesome tonight, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here And I appreciate all of you joining me on New Year's Eve. Fantastic time. I appreciate all of your generosity too. And please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Like this video, like the live stream, but make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Helps the channel. And make sure you share as well too if you think someone needs to see this. But I appreciate all of you guys being here. It's been awesome being here with you on New Year's Eve. And I will see you all for sure on Friday at 7 p.m. Okay, be there Friday, 7 p.m. But I might go live tomorrow. Follow up on this one. I might go live tomorrow. We'll have to see. All right. Thanks, Jenks. I appreciate it. But let me know if you guys think I should be going live tomorrow too. All right. Give me comments afterwards. After I publish this, it gets published, and I appreciate it. But I will see you all on Friday. Friday at 7 p.m. And I wish you all a very happy New Year. Enjoy the day, and please stay safe out there. And like I always say, make yourselves better, make the world better. Have an amazing, amazing New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and go get yours. I'll see you all Friday at 7 p.m. Let's go. I'll see you then. Thank you. Take care.